Hey there, Rick Sage, recording at the Rimrock Studios in Bishop, California. Welcome to Season 2 of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, where I speak with retailers, brand managers, athletes, executives, and others in the outdoor biz and share their stories, tips, advice, productivity tricks, and ideas you can use to take your career or business to the next level. Today's episode is brought to you in part by the Something About Nothing podcast. Think the Seinfeld show meets your favorite morning show. It's a few regular folks from outside Seattle, Washington, talking around the table about sports, the news of the day, and the absurdity of life. Something About Nothing is an entertaining variety show that covers all the stuff you want to talk about but aren't supposed to. Available wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify. Check it out today. Just search SOMETHIN, about NOTHIN. You won't believe how fun listening to a show about nothing can be. Hey, great conversation today with Chris Pugh from TREW Gear. Chris, co-founder TREW, and the team have built a great brand up in Portland, Oregon. We talk about the inspiration for TREW, launching a brand with one item, and some of the challenges and successes along the way. Enjoy. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rick.
Great to have you on. How's it going today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Stoked
good
to talk to you.
Yeah, good to catch up with you. It's funny, we've never met, which is one of the beauties of this podcast. People connect me with folks that, kind of heard about the brand, and I'm excited to chat with everybody when I get them on the show, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah, you mentioned OR, and that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, well, I'll have to meet Rick at the next OR.
That's right.
Everyone gets together.
Yeah, we'll grab a beer somewhere, yeah. So the first thing, I was doing a little research, as I do on everybody, and I saw that you have a BS in comparative literature and German. Tell us a little bit about that. I don't even know what that is. I didn't study language or anything or literature. I got a degree in outdoor recreation. So.
Oh yeah, smart. You had foresight.
Lucky.
The German part is easy to answer because I knew I wanted to study abroad. And I loved beer and the outdoors.
Nice. Yeah.
And mountains. And so I did a semester abroad in northern Germany in a university town called Lüneburg. And just getting the language requirements to go abroad and being there, automatically pretty much gave me the minor.
Mm-hmm.
And then comparative literature, I just have always loved to read. And there's a language component in comparative literature. You're comparing two works of literature through some theoretical lens. And oftentimes they want you to do in English and then a foreign piece of literature.
Oh, interesting.
And I had no idea what that was when I went to school too.
Yeah.
But I went to our 5-year reunion. It was just 5 years ago now. And I told the chair of the department how I think there's a real connection with design thinking in comparative literature, which, I would promote, a liberal arts degree in kind of that field for anyone looking into getting into design or business, because it just teaches you to think creatively and try to draw connections between people's beliefs and stuff like that. So I ended up finding parallels in the design process with comparative literature, but I did not set out on that path at all.
Right. That kind of makes sense now that you mention it, though, because language, even though, we interpret sometimes the language of a book, literally verbatim, the brown cat jumped over the bush, but then when you study the language part of it and what that connotates in German or Japanese or whatever, there's a whole nother level that you can get into, right?
Yeah. And it's even, there's all these different readings you can do. You can do a socioeconomic reading of it. You can look at the religious beliefs of the author. And so you basically just learn that things mean different things to each person.
Right.
To put it in really plain language. And I found that as helpful in talking to customers and athletes about our products and trying to interpret what they want into a physical product. And I write all the product descriptions on our
there you go. Yeah, that helps a lot. Yeah, right.
So I told our chair, I was like, I'm still writing. Don't read them because you won't understand what I'm saying. It's a lot of insider outdoor industry lingo.
Right. We never get away from writing. That's interesting. Have you found any interesting connections when you're working with factories with the language? You trying to explain to them how to build something and they're interpreting it differently, or?
Well, that's one thing I always do with every factory is try to learn the language from the operators and technicians and stuff. And we've built product in like, I guess, 5 different countries. And the current one we're in now is Bangladesh and Vietnam. And I think it's really helpful to go in and like, there's always a few guys you work really closely with, what they're kind of the head merchandisers, right, production managers. And I like to use them to help teach me, some, not only just like the basics, like hello and how are you, but some of the stuff that maybe the operators like to say. Like in Bangladesh, for example, there's a slang called bogi zogi. And it's like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's a great sounding word. And, no one who ever learned Bangladeshi would learn that word, because I don't even really know what it means. But they were telling me it's kind of like, it's just like not good. It's kind of like messed up.
Fubor.
yeah, exactly. And so I'll use that when I'm like looking at whether it's during the development process or even on the floor for pre-production samples. If we find something wrong, I'll be like, no, this seems boogie zogie, and the operators like light up. They're like, whoa, my God.
That's great.
How do you know that?
Yeah, so that's awesome. Well, that just brings you that much closer to them too, and they're willing to work harder for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, you get a little bit of the relationship building.
Cool. I'm going to work that into a post somewhere. So where does your passion?
I don't know how to spell it. So.
Oh, well, bogey, I'll just make it up. People will figure it out.
Yeah.
So where does your passion for the outdoors come from?
I think like a lot of people, you just grow up doing this stuff, and the happiest memories I have are being outdoors. And so, I was lucky to have parents that love to go outdoors. My dad particularly loves to ski.
Oh, cool.
And so we just skied a lot. Like, I think we skied when we were 2.5, with one of those leashes or whatever. There's pictures of us just kind of harnessed in. And I remember the first memories of skiing are just following Dad around. He's got like a backpack full of candy, and that's like
bribes.
That's like all it took.
Yeah.
And since then, we've done like backpacking, and it's just like I think anyone in the outdoor industry would agree it's why we do this, but it's just the place of like, where you can really relax and so that's the first connection.
It's the place where we're all at peace. Where did you grow up?
So I learned to ski in Michigan. So I grew up from ages 2 to 8 in Michigan, and then we moved to Asheville, North Carolina.
All the hot ski spots, huh?
Yeah. And we always we were lucky enough to go to Colorado a lot growing up. And my dad moved to Colorado, and I stayed in Asheville with our mom as we grew up. But yeah, and Asheville is a beautiful,
it's gorgeous
gateway to the outdoors too. And that's where we lived outside of Asheville, like in this little town called Fletcher, which is like a 10-minute drive to the Appalachian Trail, to a section of it. Anyway.
Nice. Yeah, and there's beautiful stuff around there. Yeah, plenty to do.
Yeah, but not a lot of skiing.
No, right. Well, you had that connection to Colorado though, so you did get some good skiing. That's great. Yeah, and I think, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that the distance, like, I just obsessed over ski magazines and ski movies. I just built an intense desire to ski in my mind, because I didn't live right next to a mountain. Right,
you got hooked on it. So yeah, sometimes that distance can create a stronger attraction. Right, it's like you don't get to do it every day, so it's like, well, when I can, I'm going to go there.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's cool. And what was your first outdoor job? Did you work in the industry in retail or anything?
I didn't have a retail job. Yeah, I was thinking about what maybe my first outdoor job, I guess, would be. I was a sailing coach in Michigan, like kind of like a summer camp situation. And that was, you're not like really working in the outdoor industry. But it just, we were teaching kids about enjoying the outdoors. And then, but yeah, when we started working on the TREW products, I was basically right out of college.
Oh, wow.
And my business partner, Trip, was working for a hat manufacturer in Hood River. So he's the one who kind of had the wholesale manufacturing
Gotcha.
and that type of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of approached it purely from this product design idea that we had. And we were like, let's just try to make this product and get it into some stores and see if people like it.
Right.
So that's kind of,
and that's what I love about the outdoor industry as we continue to evolve, right? We're more embracing to non-traditional outdoor activities like sailing and some of the water sports. Whereas, 30 years ago when I got in the biz, nobody talked about sailing or very few people, I should say. And now it's a lot more embracing. I like that.
Yep.
And you guys started TREW with a pair of bibs. Do I have that right?
Yeah, that's right. That was our first product in 2008. And so I was a senior in college and started talking to Trip and my brother about this idea. And my brother and I were going to move to Oregon. And like I said, it was, when we get asked this question a lot, like, why did you guys start this business? What's the background? And, it's not like a elaborate backstory. We literally just had this idea for the Truth bib. And no one was making a bib quite like it. And we were all, I went to college in Colorado and got really into ski mountaineering and backcountry skiing. And I'm just wearing like either alpine bibs, kind of like tighter fitting, whatever I could get my hands on, that were just more comfortable for spring climbing and stuff. And then usually wearing like Bonfire Burton, snowboard pants that made me look cooler. And so we were like, we just wanted to put those two things together. And we, from all the people, like my kind of crew in Colorado and skiing and a lot of other people our age, we knew that there was a lot of other active, kind of skiers and snowboarders like us who were just starting to get into the backcountry, but didn't really have that soft goods apparel that like really they connected with. So yeah, I went up to Vancouver, BC for spring break my senior year to just because I knew Arc'teryx was made up there. And so just walked around and looked at factories and just tried to asked, so many dumb questions that just starting out at square one, right?
But those are all, it's the old saying, there's no such thing as a dumb question. You got to start somewhere. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the full introduction. That's pretty cool. And so from so you launched the bib. When you started working on the bib project, did you have aspirations of creating a brand, or you just wanted to make this product and we'll, deal with the rest later?
I think we knew intuitively that we'd have to make it a brand, and that all kind of happened naturally. Like the thumbs up logo was our only logo idea, and we just stuck with it. And then, I think the turning point was when the bib actually got into stores. In 2009, we got into less than 10 stores.
Wow. That's a good start, though, for just one product assortment.
Yeah. In showing the product to those stores, we quickly learned that we needed more products.
Need some brothers and sisters for this thing.
To merchandise it out. And so we created a line, even that first year, that using all the same fabric as in the Truth bib. We're like, okay, here's the jacket. And the Truth bib got in, I think it was Skiing Magazine the first year as, a gear of the year. And then,
boom,
I think Outside Magazine wrote about it. And that's what really launched our online business, and helped us get into more stores the next year.
So that's probably a double-edged sword, right? Because when that happens, it's good that you get that attention, but then holy shit, now we have to make 1 million of them.
Yeah.
How'd you handle that?
Well, we bounced around from factory to factory for 5 years.
Gotcha.
At that point, because we made our first products with basically this freelance. I don't know how to even describe him, but he had a small sewing operation in Vancouver, BC.
Okay.
and he had the ability to make 50 of a product.
Okay.
Instead of 1,000.
Right. Sample run.
Yeah, exactly. And so we built products with him, and his main business is actually doing custom products for like Canadian Mounties and doing kind of one-off stuff like that.
Interesting.
So he had actually a lot of knowledge for really durable construction. And so from there, we scaled up to a factory in Vancouver, BC, when the American dollar was actually still really strong. And I think that was 2009, I guess, when we probably brought that product in. And then Canadian dollar got a lot stronger, and we needed to make more. And at that point, we went to China, and then have kind of bounced around
all the other places. Yeah, exactly.
All the other places.
Yeah. So what would you say has been the most challenging in that process of getting it off the ground?
Well, the figuring out the manufacturing was the part of the business that I was responsible for, and that was definitely really challenging.
Wait a minute. So you're the designer. You have no experience on that end. Trip had a little bit of experience, and he handed that off to you.
Well, I think I was the creative type, I guess.
Oh, got you. Okay.
And Trip also has an MBA, and so
so he's got to do all the finance. And got you.
Yeah, and my brother John, who was also a partner of the business, is just like a natural salesman. So like the three of us we had this, just kind of the personalities that naturally fell into each role.
Yep.
And we complemented each other pretty well in that. But yeah, and I think also with the product, I'm also fairly stubborn and opinionated. So it's like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, and, that's good. Yeah. Well, and you could lean on Trip. Trip could kind of send you in the right direction at least, right?
Yeah.
You weren't totally flying blind over there looking for factories. He probably had some connections, and you could go over there and.
Yeah, and we knew how to kind of structure those relationships. At least we knew. Right. And another thing I would say too in the outdoor industry is like so many people are willing to share their experiences. Yeah. And factory contacts. Right. You talk to a designer at a competitor, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we build products with these guys, but we've talked to these guys. You should send them an email and see if they'll do it." And I was blown away by that in the beginning because I thought it was like a I don't know, Coke versus Pepsi type of situation. Everyone like.
Yeah, that's a bunch of people on the show have talked about that. It's one of a number of unique things in the industry. But we're just we compete with one another on a daily basis at retail. But then at the end of the day, we're having beers and dinner at the OR show and sharing leads and resources, and it's pretty cool. It's unique to the industry. I don't know any other industry that does that. It's great.
I think that's right. I think it's like we're all just trying to lift the whole thing up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and at the end of the day, we're all just making toys for people to go have fun and recreate, and that's right. We want everybody to be able to recreate and be comfortable and safe and have fun. So that's cool. Right. So what are you most proud of after getting the TREW off the ground and where you guys are at today?
I think how the business evolved, we evolved from us just really thinking about how to make one product or a small collection of products. And now I really think of our company more as like a service company, just providing tools and communication to our customers. And that, I guess that's what I'm most proud of, is just now we have a good amount of customers that have really bought into the culture, and TREW is an important brand to them. It like, they identify with it. And that is something that you just never have any experience, or like, we didn't plan on trying to capture that. Right. I think we were just authentically trying to build this product.
Well, and I think when it happens organically, it's stronger, right?
Yeah.
If you put too much energy into that, people see right through it and go, no thanks.
Right. And we certainly have some experience of that, during our growing pains, we're like, oh, we got to make this product. And then as it comes out, we're like, it becomes pretty clear to our customer and to us that we shouldn't be making product just trying to be a different company than we really are. And so, that's, I think, just like the culture around the brand, even in the office, and everywhere, just kind of permeates everything we do. And I think that's something we're all really proud of.
That's pretty cool. How many people are at your offices there in Portland?
We have 5 total people.
Wow,
So
nice. So still super small.
Still really small. Yeah. And the team's moved around a bit. Now we brought in, a new designer. Brittany is her name. And she has lots of experience, and she's way more talented than me. And like, instead of kind of hacking our way through, kind of like, I would call my design process just total Frankenstein. Like, like
Yep.
you find a jacket that you like, and you're like, all right, I'm going to cut that sleeve off and take that to Asia. And then you're like,
Yep.
here's a hood that works really well. We'll take that hood, and you just put it together.
Yeah.
And, a lot of designers do that. I was just way more obvious with it, I think.
Well, I've been involved in a few backpack projects along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. More like, you're kind of remixing,
yeah, right.
That's kind of how I equate the design process to. And anyway, Brittany's just a more accomplished designer and really technical with fit and construction. So we were stoked to bring her aboard like a year ago. Mm-hmm. And then we've got Shay doing all of our marketing and events. Isabel is doing customer service operations, and then Luke is a backpack designer and builder. So we make a lot of backpacks here in Portland.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And who have been some of your mentors along the way that have helped you guys kind of guide you and steer you and inspire or motivate you? I mean, we all need all the above, right?
Yeah. And like I said, in general, there's just been so many people that have allowed access to them at kind of any point. Mm-hmm. And, for me, the people that were really important at the beginning were actually on the factory side.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm.
And like the owners of some of the different factories we've worked with have been really important people that have, the fact that they've wanted to build our product and keep kind of believing in the brand obviously means a lot, but they also get to interact with so many different companies.
Right.
And if you approach these factories from a point of view, which I definitely have, of like, hey, how do we do this right? How do we build products with you the right way?
Right. What pitfalls can we avoid? Yeah, that's a good approach.
Yeah, exactly. You can learn a lot because they see all types of stuff.
Yes, they do. I should get some of those guys on the show. That would be some interesting tales.
Yeah, I can set that up for sure. we have so one guy we work with is the owner of the factory in Bangladesh right now, and he's just become a really good friend, but he's had tons of experience. Like, it's kind of the other side of the outdoor industry. He's visited the US and enjoys hiking and stuff like that, but really he's just been building product all his life. He started as a technician in a factory and worked his way up to manage a production line, and then went to work for Bemis, which is the manufacturer, a US based company, a manufacturer of seam tapes and adhesives that we all use.
Yeah.
And then, after 20 years of doing all these different jobs, he now owns his own factory and right near where he grew up in Bangladesh. And,
wow, very cool. Good for him.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, but has a lot of good leadership experience. And then for us, he can just say, like, he has so much knowledge of big customers and small customers and things they did right, things they did wrong, and so he's been a great mentor.
That's very cool. Yeah, and I'm sure you guys work with some nonprofits. What are some of the nonprofit groups you guys work with?
Kind of the main one we try to support with the business is the Northwest Avalanche Center, and they're based in Seattle.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they have they do have kind of a pretty big following in Portland. They provide all the forecasts and information for all the Cascade Mountains.
Yep.
And so we've done, whenever we do events, we'll do some kind of small fundraise for them and try to kick out their communications.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of the main one we've supported.
All right, yeah, we'll link to them in the show notes for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine in Bishop. I spent many years living and off and on in Bishop, and he's one of the founders of the Eastern Sierra Avalanche Center. and they're
Oh, cool.
there's now, I think there's, for the first time ever, there's this connection across the whole West, right? With ESAC and Northwest and Colorado in between there. That's great.
Yeah. Technology has really opened up those different little, used to be kind of a word of mouth, little small group of people.
Right.
But now they're all getting on these like technology platforms that allows users to share information and forecasters and connect. It's really a good time to
some of the interactive mapping stuff and photos, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Right.
It's really cool. And so you're a big skier. What other outdoor activities do you participate in?
I think like backpacking is probably, it's something that we haven't done in a little while because we just had our first baby.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something my wife and I like. That's our favorite vacation.
Cool.
Where you just, if you can manage to get away for like more than 3 days or something like that, that's really all you need to just completely forget the regular daily grind or whatever.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think that's probably.
You do a lot of that around Oregon, Cascades, and all that, or?
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of great backpacking. Probably our favorite zone close to here that we've explored the most is like the Mount Adams area and Horseheaven Hills.
Oh, cool. Okay.
We did this hike a couple years ago that I think we both really want to get back to, called what was it called? Oh, the Goat Rocks wilderness area, and there's like all these mountain goats in these high alpine lakes, and you just kind of like, it's beautiful, and it's so close to here. You're like in this pretty thriving urban area, and you can drive a few hours probably to get to the trailhead.
That's one of the cool things about Portland and Seattle both. You're really close, but you can have the urban life and the good jobs and all that and still be close to the great recreation.
Yeah,
that's a challenge of living in Bishop.
Yeah.
And do you have any suggestions or advice for people either wanting to start their own brand or get in the business or grow their career if they're already in the business?
Yeah. I think about the best employees we've ever had, which are, everyone that we have now. And, and these people are just so hungry to learn, and humble. And I think that attitude, you start working, especially a small company. And I think it's got to translate to a big company too. If you approach your job as, just always wanting to do more and learn new things. I never have a conversation with our employees of, no one ever comes to me and says, hey, I need to this doesn't fit my job description. So I'm not going to do this.
That's good. Yeah.
It's, everyone just wants to bring more onto their plate because they can learn more.
Yeah.
And, I think that's like the most valuable thing for employees. And I would hire anybody, even if they didn't have any experience, if, I could tell that they had that real drive to improve themselves and learn more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. That's good. I think that's true for a lot of us. Could do a lot more of that, whatever, like learning how to do a podcast or learning how to, take a photo, something. If you're not learning, you're going backwards. So
yeah,
in my opinion.
And in a small company, there's 5 of us. So
yeah,
if we're not growing, the company's not growing.
Right.
If we just kind of eddy out and we're like, I think I know everything I need to know. I'm just gonna cruise, and the company will stay in that same spot. But
yeah, well, and as you guys continue to grow at every level, there's another set of skills that I didn't know we needed to know this, and you got to go figure it out. So
yeah, that's the truth. Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot easier when you're smaller, I guess, too, because you can just get everybody in a room and talk about it. But
right,
it's still challenging. Yeah. Do you have any daily routines you use to keep your sanity? Do you meditate, walk the dog?
Yeah, I try. Like I said, we had our first kid, so my daily routines have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
I really,
you're young, right? How old?
He's 12 weeks.
12 weeks, little guy. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But it's a lot of fun, and that's probably, bringing him to the outdoors is what I just think about every day. I can't wait.
Right.
But I treasure our morning time together before I go to work. I'm on dad duty from 6 to 8 or something like that, depending on when he gets up.
Right.
And then I try to bike to work as much as possible.
Oh, great.
I'm ashamed to admit I'm like kind of a fair weather biker.
That's okay.
which doesn't, excludes a few months in Portland for sure. But,
yeah.
But I really love that in the summer, like biking to and from work just feels great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And are you a big reader? Do you have any favorite books, or do you give books as gifts very often?
Yeah, I love to read, and I do give books to our employees to,
cool.
I think they're probably sick of it. but yeah, I was trying to think about that. For me, stepping from like an operator, right? Like in the design process to more of a manager of people.
Right.
I've read a lot of the Peter Drucker books. And that was an author my dad sent to me. He's kind of like old school classic management thinker.
Yeah.
And but just
still relevant,
really,
though,
totally relevant.
Yeah.
And I was blown away when I think I just kind of found him at the right time when I was like, holy cow, I'm not doing anything anymore except for trying to figure out how to help people do their jobs and achieve goals. And so he's got a lot of books that are really helpful.
A lot of material. Yeah.
And then one other one my brother gave me a couple years ago that I've given to our employees. I really like, I forget the author's name. He's a former Google employee. And the title is called Search Inside Yourself.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a play on, Google being a search engine.
Right, yeah, I like that.
And this guy, I think his job, I think he started out as an engineer at Google, and then in a classic like Silicon Valley tech world, his new job description is something like the wellness guru or something.
Right.
That's like literally his job. And it just talks a lot about finding the balance at work with your mental health and your family, and it's great. It's a cool.
We'll put a link to that in the show notes too. I might pick that one up. Yeah, that's what I love about the. We were talking offline about the Tim Ferriss podcast, and he just talks to so many people on that show with so many various forms of, books and tapes and lectures and download his PDF, and I just love that stuff. It's good stuff.
His reading lists are fantastic.
Oh my God, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could spend a whole life reading that reading list, no doubt.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite piece of outdoor gear under $100?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that. For me, I get totally into products, like really, like how they can improve, your experience outdoors. I think the best thing, like in being outdoors, is being comfortable when you're like doing something fairly extreme or involved.
Uncomfortable in uncomfortable conditions. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And so I got these gloves, my wife gave me for my birthday present. Cause we just went, she just took me shopping, it was a couple years ago. Nice. And they're these gloves by OR, Outdoor Research up in Seattle. And they're like kind of the old school kind where you can, they're like a mitten that you flip over and you got your fingers, but they're made out of a windstopper material, have leather palm, and then the mitten flip part is magnetic.
Oh, so cool.
It's so sweet. I've always used gloves like that when I go skinnying or mountaineering or even biking to work. And that magnetic mitten flip was like so sweet. I show people the gloves and I'm like always talking about them. So that was kind of one product that came to mind.
Yeah, cool. We'll link to that. I don't think I've heard about them, but I don't think I've seen them, but we'll put a link to that. I could try to find the product name on there. I have no idea what they're called. I'm sure I could look it up online, but yeah, if you could, that'd be awesome. That'd help out a lot. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it sounds like a cool product. I love their gloves. They have a really lightweight windstopper gripper glove, I think they call it, that I use. I'm out taking photos all the time, so I got to be able to press the button and do all that. And those gloves are perfect for that. So yeah.
Yeah, they make great product. They're real. Yeah, they're real engineers up there.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. As we wrap up here, is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience or ask of our listeners?
Yeah, I think probably most listeners of your podcast are looking for that balance of, really helping to help their organization grow and work hard and get in the outdoors. And I don't think that's they're not mutually exclusive. So I think you can work really hard and work 70-hour weeks or whatever it takes. And there's just always time to get outdoors. So it's
still have fun. Yeah, that's great. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Keep getting outside. And how can people find you if they want to follow up? Is there email or on your website?
You can just email. It's just chris@TREWgear.com. That's probably the easiest way to find me. I'm not on Instagram or anything.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll link to that. Well, Chris, it's been great catching up with you. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. It's been awesome talking to you.
Yeah, I'm sure you got a busy day ahead of you, and have fun with that little guy.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, take it easy.
You too.
All right, bye. All right, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Chris Pugh. You can catch up with Chris by email at chris@trewgear.com. That's CHRIS@TREW gear.com. You'll find links to everything we discussed in the show notes at theoutdoorbizpodcast.com/episode 105. Be sure to hit your favorite podcast app and subscribe today. Thanks for listening. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. I've used Audible for many years now. I'm on the road a lot, and Audible allows me to enjoy the great books I discover or are recommended by friends. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/theoutdoorbizpodcast. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Start your 30-day free trial with Audible today. If you want more of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure and go to theoutdoorbizpodcast.com where you'll find all the episodes, show notes, and much, much more. Thanks for listening, and until next time, be sure to make time to get outside.